Hi, you guys. It's Amanda from Healthy House on the Block. I am here today to talk to you all about Christmas and how to have a healthier Christmas this year through some of the things that we're bringing into our home and some of the things that we can avoid bringing into our home this holiday season. A lot of times we're introducing a lot of things into our homes and our air over Christmas time. We are bringing in decorations, we're bringing in different scents, different candles, we might be bringing in a tree, Christmas lights, all kinds of things that end up affecting our indoor air quality. The other part of this is that in the winter time, typically when a lot of us are celebrating Christmas is like it's a wintertime season where we are, it's colder. We have our house really closed up. This means that the air isn't filtering out, it's not filtering in, we're not exchanging the air as much. So anything that we're bringing in is becoming, it's not diluted in our house, it's really concentrated, and we're becoming affected by some of those toxins and things that are inside our house over the holidays. So I have some notes here for you guys. So if you see me looking down, I'm just glancing at my notes. I'm going to share with you some of the things that we can do to create a healthier indoor environment over Christmas. The first has to do with our tree. So a lot of times there's this big debate. Do you get real? Do you get a fake tree? What's better? What's better for the environment? For our homes, we want to avoid getting a fake tree. Fake trees generally are made with like a polyvinyl chloride. They have PVC in them, plastics in them, phthalates. They also have cadmium, which is a heavy metal we want to avoid. It has all kinds of things that we want to avoid bringing into our house. Not only is it harmful to the air, it's also harmful like for our skin. If we're touching it, it's being absorbed into our bloodstream. So we want to avoid those things. The best option is either to get like an organic living tree, and you can check your area and see if your community does this. So basically they will deliver to you a real tree in a pot, and you can use it, decorate it, and then off it goes. But we want to avoid any trees that are grown with pesticides. If you can find a tree farm that doesn't use pesticides, that's going to be your best bet. You can go cut a tree down and buy a tree. Sometimes I feel like the ones that are bought right out of a tree lot, like or a tree off of a tree farm, you can actually ask them and say, do you use pesticides? What do you use? We don't want to be bringing pesticides into our house, you guys, and we don't want to be bringing toxins into our house. So if you're buying it like at a lot, it's probably pretty hard to know where that tree came from. We go to like a tree farm in my state of Minnesota, and there's quite a few around. A couple years ago we went to Wisconsin to get ours. So we will go to a local tree farm and cut it down, and then they plant new ones. So that's been the best option for us. You can kind of do a little research and see what you want to do, but I would try to avoid having a fake tree in your house. So the next thing on our list is scented candles. So Christmas tends to be this time that we see a lot of scented candles, things that smell like Christmas trees, things that smell like baked cookies, everything. Scented candles generally we want to avoid. They have synthetic fragrances in them. We know that synthetic fragrances affect our endocrine system, so where our hormones are produced, and they affect other things, and they're just, they're man-made. It's not just an essential oil pressed from a plant. They're like chemicals that are made to cover up other smells. So if we can avoid them, that's best. Obviously, you know that I'm going to tell you to use essential oils. You want to make sure that you're getting essential oils that are certified by either a third party, or you can find ones that are USDA organic certified, but you want to be checking to make sure that the essential oils that you're getting are safe and pure for your house. And I'm sharing on my blog, and I'll link it below, a couple of my favorite holiday diffuser blends. I've got my diffuser going over here, you can see it. I use it all the time. It's such a great way to kind of help with a lot of emotional support, as well as just having something good smelling going in the house. And there's lots of options. The next thing that I have on my list here is adding some natural decor to your house. So a lot of times we're bringing in, different elements to decorate our house. A lot of times if you just run to even Target is guilty of this, places you can buy like cheaper decor. It's just plastic. It's going to be a lot of synthetic like materials. If you can find things that are either like metal that isn't painted, finding wood, finding natural fabrics, all kinds of things. We have so many options that we can go to instead of like plastic and really cheap stuff. We use a lot of natural decor in our house, so it could be like poinsettias, it could be like a plant, it could be flowers like in a vase. Those are all really natural things using natural materials. Again, glass, metal, wood. Those are all awesome options as opposed to plastics and heavy metals and things like that. You can even get your kids involved. Use pine cones from outside. Use like birch from outside and make something fun or make a pretty plant or something. It always means a little bit more too. The next thing I want to talk about is Christmas lights. So a lot of times we put them on the outside of our house, and I don't really have a huge problem with them being on the outside because the outside air is extremely diluted. But inside your house, it's a different story. So one of the things that they're finding is Christmas lights are covered in polyvinyl chloride. That's what covers the string of lights. This can be toxic to little hands, especially. So we want to try and avoid this. You can look for some Christmas lights that meet the European Restriction of Hazardous Substances Directive. So it's ROHS. I have a link here. It's going to be much more explanatory, and I even have some lights linked there that you can buy this Christmas season that are going to meet that requirement, meaning that they're certified, that they don't have the chemicals that typical American Christmas lights have. So that's a really good option for you. And then a couple of the last things I have are like your ornaments. If you're going to go buy new ornaments, why not look for fair trade ornaments or ornaments that are made of natural elements instead of just buying like a package from a big box store or something. If you're giving them, that always means more to someone. I love to check Etsy for handmade ornaments, or you can even go to websites and find, like I said, fair trade ornaments are some of my favorite things to buy. The last thing is gift wrap. So if you're wrapping all your presents this year, you don't have to go buy a roll of wrapping paper from the store. A lot of times they have trace amounts of like lead and other chemicals in them, and that's how they make them like shiny and like really tough to rip and things like that. You can just go get a roll of like the packaging paper. It's paper, and you could decorate it with stamps. You could have your kids color on it. You could even just leave it as is and put a beautiful ribbon or like a beautiful piece of like baker's string on it. It would be so pretty. Put like a little greenery in there. You don't have to just go get wrapping paper from the store, just because it's not the healthiest option and it doesn't really break down that well. It's not recyclable. So just another thing to think about. But some of the things you definitely want to avoid: spray on snow usually has a lot of toxins. So we want to try and avoid that. If you have like a tree that's like flocked, that's another thing that you probably want to avoid. A lot of vintage ornaments have lead, mercury in them, and we want to try and avoid that, especially if they break. So try to get more natural ornaments if you can. Another thing is food coloring. This is a huge thing that my family has been transitioning out of. One of my daughters, my youngest daughter, we're really watching the artificial food dyes that she takes in, and the Christmas season is really tough for that. There's artificial colors in everything. No matter where we go, even if it's homemade, it probably has dye in it. And so you can actually buy on Amazon completely natural food dyes, and you can check like your stores too. I'm sure like Trader Joe's or Whole Foods has some really great options too. So in the post I'm linking to the food dye that we purchased this year that's made of natural juices and herbs and has no artificial dyes in it at all, and it's just a really great thing for the Christmas season while you're doing your baking. I will be back with you again, but those are all of my tips for Christmas, and I will share the link below so you can check out the blog post.